We're here this morning at the Commend booth. Tony, a lot of customers couldn't make it down to GSX, so we're here to kind of touch base and look at different things and also give everybody sort of a little bit of a teaser on the upcoming technology show that's coming up in a couple weeks in October that we're holding in Washington, D.C. And of course, you guys will be there, so they'll be able to come and see some of this stuff at that show.
Yeah, we're happy to be at GSX. We'll be happy to be at the Bosch show as well, and look forward to showing everybody what we have to show today.
I know there's a bunch of new stuff that Commend has been talking about lately that they've been kind of dying to get out in front of customers and adding some next level stuff to the security experience. So we've had a traditional video and we've had some audio stuff there, and now we're starting to add some other visual things that we can do as well that are tied straight into the product that Commend has to offer.
We're really moving on to the next generation, the next level of intercom. It's a communication piece. So we've mastered the audio part of it. We've mastered the audio and video part of it. The next level is to bring in the digital signage, right? So you got audio, video, and digital signage all in one device. That's really giving you the ability to not only scroll through and call people, but also gives you the ability to change the screen based upon an event. So that's really helpful in all the kinds of different environments where maybe it's a change on the time of day of the week, after hours. Could change based upon a schedule, right? And that schedule really is important because it really gives that operational capability to anybody that wants it. It's really customizable. You do it however you want to, and it works perfectly.
So a couple of things that I saw that we talked about recently were, you were here mapping with some of the touchscreen displays and things like that, giving customers the ability to find their way at a customer site, whether that's a large healthcare facility or a school environment or something like that, or even in an office complex. And the second thing I saw when I came in the booth this morning that I thought was kind of interesting and I think right now applies and very useful is the touchscreen preemptive COVID screening.
Yeah, absolutely. So we believe that before somebody ever even comes in the door, we should stop them before they even enter the lobby. So we give you the ability to create some signage there. Within that signage basically are all the COVID questionnaires you'd have, and before they enter the door, they answer all the questions, and then from there, they go ahead and either enter the door or calls somebody at the front door to give them directions if they have had symptoms in the past.
So they don't even get into the building before they get the questionnaire, and then the customer can decide if they enter the complex.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Nice.
Right.
All right, well, let's get back together and walk around the booth and take a look at some of the individual systems.
Perfect. Yeah, so we're here looking at part of our booth, which is what we call Choose Your Experience with Commend. And basically this gives you the ability to basically choose one of the different vertical markets here. We have industrial, we have security, parking, and healthcare. And within those environments, once I push one of these buttons, it takes us into a map. And that map obviously is an overlay. And this is part of our Com Studio platform. Our Com Studio platform is our graphical user interface. There's a lot of power behind it. Allows you to put different maps in here, different levels, be able to place calls, make announcements, answer intercom calls, and that type of thing.
Well, control outside devices as well with CommPLC as well, right?
Absolutely, control outside devices with CommPLC. And what happens is when I push this button here, or when I chose one of the experiences on the back side of the booth, and all of our touch screens, they all change too to meet that experience, and it's all customizable to that specific experience. And you'll see that when we go around the back of the booth.
Awesome.
So once I exit out of here and go into healthcare, you'll see the map's different. This is portraying a nursing floor. Within that, it gives you a pain threshold monitor. It also gives you the ability to call the patient. So if I call the patient, it pops up a video. You can see that patient and also obviously have a conversation with them. I can terminate the call from here. If I place a call, it'll ring here and the buttons will flash. I can turn on and off lights. You can do all kinds of things with the CommPLC. I can transfer calls. And again, on the other side of the booth is where you'd see the patient experience, which gives them a pain threshold monitor, gives them the ability to call the nurse, gives them the menu that's there for lunch and everything else.
So the customer side of it.
The customer side of it, exactly.
Okay.
We also have the industrial side, which is more the industrial PA. So I go ahead and choose different zones to page on. I can pick the message I want to page or do a live page. And I can send that message and it goes out to the speaker and then does a page.
Feel free to speak to us about the benefits of intercom.
So again, it gives you the ability to dynamically select zones and be able to select pages, whether it be something that's generic. You can actually record a live message as well and send that out too. And you can still obviously pick different zones based upon here that's grouping instead of picking them on the map as well. And the last one is our security. So in the security space, this is just a map overlay with different intercoms that are calling in. This is how it would look operating in a normal mode. I can pick different cameras I want to see. But we also have what's called lockdown mode. So this shows that I can change the entire functioning of the system based upon some sort of event. So we're going to trigger this basically by simulating a lockdown. And that's going to basically broadcast the message. It's going to bring up video of that area.
The building is now in lockdown.
And then puts you in a situational awareness mode where I basically then I'll have the ability to logically step through of the entire situation. So, you know, usually in these events, there's some sort of a stress response that doesn't really give you the best ability to respond to a situation. But if I go through this and say it's a genuine threat, it then gives me more instructions on what to do. Call the police department. I can continue through this. I can then go through and view the various cameras that are in the building and see where the assailant is, find out what needs to happen. I can check off rooms that I went through. I can also lock those doors if I wanted to, if there's nobody left in there, to kind of box the person in the right area. And once I'm through, I can either continue while the lockdown's still going on. I still have full control over the system, but I can also end the lockdown. And once the lockdown's over, it broadcasts the message across the entire system as well.
This is a security update announcement.
So while most people are familiar with traditional type of intercoms, which we still have, we still sell, we still have a bunch of them. You know, obviously we have the audio-only stations, audio with video, blue lights, but really our newest generation of intercom is the Choose Your Experience or the OD10 and OD5, which are basically our touchscreen intercoms.
And ID5 as well.
And the ID5 as well, an indoor version of that. So that being said, because we can customize the screens like we talked about earlier, I'll have the ability to then basically choose my experience, and it'll completely change the way the screen operates. So Steve, if you want to walk around and just click on the parking. So Steve's clicking on the parking right now, and what's going to happen is the screen's going to change into parking mode, right? So basically this brings up the screen, and now I've got different customizable options. This tells me how many live parking spots I have open, tells me what the parking rates are if I click on it. You just click there. So I can place a call. Shows me the weather. So that's the weather in New Jersey. And obviously I can call for assistance. It also has traffic information from the local area. This is a live traffic feed that we just pulled in from a third-party website. Go home. So you can see I can customize the screen, and like Steve just pushed, I can push the call for assistance if I still want to talk to somebody. And the person on the other side would have to answer it. I would talk to them, and at that point, we'd have the conversation, and they'd hang up.
Smaller version.
So the smaller version of it, if you want that, we got the smaller version of it too. Steve, if you want to go ahead and click out of this one and go into the healthcare. In the healthcare one, we're simulating. In healthcare, we're simulating a patient experience, so they could easily call the nurse if they wanted to, tell us what their pain level is, right? What is their pain level? And when I choose that and hit submit, that shows up on the other side of the screen and gives the pain level to the nurse, so they kind of have a really visual indicator of what their pain level is. I can go to the dining menu. In this case, we basically just told the nurse to bring the dining menu. And then the hospital policy, which we put a QR code in. And the great thing about it is we can put anything in a QR code, somebody can scan it and get more information if they wanted to. So again, this is completely customizable. I can put whatever I want on the screen, and like I said, I can also call the nurse if I need assistance or need help. And this comes up as a two-way audio video call as well. So I have live, visual of the nurse can see me, I can see them. Steve, if you want to go ahead and click on one of the other ones. So this is the industrial. This is a very simple one, where we're showing them in an industrial space. I could have our touchscreen intercoms there, and we could start and stop a machine. We can send commands via our PLC or OPC UA interface straight to a machine interface to be able to stop and start machines or perform some sort of action, and obviously still give the ability to call for help. This is just a goofy simulation, but if I hit stop grabber, start grabber, you'll see that it goes back and forth, and that's basically sending the signal back and forth to the machine to start and stop.
And of course, we can have that screen with any sort of buttons and any sort of labeling.
We could have this screen with any sort of buttons. Steve, we can multi-level menu it. I could display a web page on here if I wanted to, and that web page could literally drill. And that's pretty much what this is. We developed a web page for it. I can drill into as many screens as I want to and have it do whatever I want. And then the last one is the security space. So when Steve clicked on basically the security one, this gives you basically an evacuation route. So this is our lockdown mode. In lockdown mode, this gives you an evacuation escape route from this area, but I can also obviously still place a call. So again, I could have this screen change and do multiple things. In this case, we're just showing the ability to add whatever screen in, whether it be an active shooter. The screen could be different for fire. The screen could be different for tornado, right? So that screen could be different based upon the situation.
All right, so Tony, one of the things we talked about screening for COVID.
Right.
Can we go through this real quick?
Yeah, so I'll show you this really quick. So basically this is our IM6. The IM6 is a module that basically we deconstructed our touchscreen and put it into a module so I can add a speaker, microphone, and also a camera, which is up here. And I can also obviously add the touchscreen. Within that touchscreen, we can map that to pretty much any web page, any website. We developed a mini website here that has some logic built into it. Within that logic, we have a COVID questionnaire. And the idea is that if somebody answers the questions incorrectly, we don't want to let them in the door necessarily right away. If they do answer them correctly, we place the call and we're able to make that call. So right here it says, have you had any following symptoms in the last 48 hours? It gives all the COVID symptoms. If I select no, are you isolating or quarantining because you tested positive for COVID-19? Or worried you may have COVID-19 or be sick? No. Are you fully vaccinated or have you recovered from a documented COVID-19 infection in the last 3 months? Yes. If I hit submit, what happens then is I get approved. It rings in, you get a two-way call, and basically allows me to get in the building. So let's say
the operator inside the building has the ability to unlock the door.
Has the ability to unlock the door and let you in. Now let's say you don't answer the questions correctly. So I just answer these in any way or form that's not correct, and I hit submit. It basically gives me a buzz and doesn't let me in the door, right? I can also have it place a call too. You can place a call to talk to the person on the inside and let the person in after. But again, all this is completely customizable. Again, this is a web page we had developed just for the show, and we can have this say whatever we want and really, gives you more of a kiosk feel, but with the ability to also see and give you the audio piece too, which is something that a lot of kiosks are missing.
What's that distance between the person in the lobby and the person trying to get in the building?
Absolutely.
Well, Tony, I really appreciate your time going around the booth, showing us all the new stuff, and we are really looking forward to having you guys at the Technology Forum in October in Washington, D.C., and we'll see you then.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks.